For everyone who just saw my zombie apocalypse video, realised that it runs for just under 2 hours and thought, "F that," this video is for you. This video is a stripped down explanation for a method I created to stop ChatGPT from lying. The method is called Structured Dimensional Analysis, or SDA-3 for short. Its goal isn't to get better answers from a large language model, but to force the model to expose the structure behind its answers. For those of us still haunted by flashbacks from maths class, it's not enough to give the answer, you need to show you're working. For an LLM, that means exposing the hidden priors, implicit dependencies, and hierarchical relationships required for the response to hold together. SDA-3 doesn't reveal the model's actual hidden reasoning, which isn't possible for proprietary large language models. However, we can get the model to generate a structured estimate of the pressures likely shaping its response, what it treats as central, what it places nearby, what it suppresses, what it confuses through association, and what is beginning to emerge. SDA-3 seeks to infer the structural pressures shaping an LLM response by making the model expose likely priors, dependencies, emissions, conflicts, and token relationships. It can't literally reveal the model's embedding space or actual chain of thought, but it can give us a solid estimate of what kind of semantic structure the response appears to be drawing from. In simple terms, the process can be reduced to 4 questions. What relevant topics or subtopics would the model normally ignore, despite their direct relevance? Where is the model encountering conflicting pressures, and if those constraints are relaxed, what hierarchy begins to emerge? How would coherence and conflict aversion smoothing distort the model's response? What unspoken assumptions or guesses is the model relying on, and what needs to be clarified before the response is structurally reliable? In more technical terms, it looks like this. SDA-3 returns 3 things: a structural percentage breakdown, a token distribution for each of the structures, then a coherent response. When a large language model generates a response, it generates a vast network of topics and subtopics related to the prompt. The structural breakdown in SDA-3 is an attempt to map the structure of that network. Structure only appears when the model is forced into contradiction, omission, or uncertainty. SDA-3 does this by categorizing topics as either central, adjacent, suppressed, highly correlated but unrelated, or emerging. Central topics define what the response is actually about. Adjacent topics sit at the boundary. They extend the central topic and mark where it starts to break into tangents. Suppressed topics are relevant but excluded, often because they are socially sensitive, unpopular, or difficult to resolve. This is where valuable information is lost. Highly correlated but unrelated topics are elements associated with the central topic whose relevance isn't immediately clear. They're usually treated as noise, but can reveal meaningful structure when expanded. Emerging topics are elements whose relevance is increasing but hasn't yet stabilized. They show where new connections are forming and indicate the direction the response is moving toward. Let's now see what this looks like. I start by asking ChatGPT to analyze a drawing I did for a set of playing cards after I first discovered the smudge tool in Photoshop. The result is a simple visual description of the image. When I get ChatGPT to analyze the image again, but this time responding in SDA-3 format, we can now see where it identifies statistical relationships that aren't otherwise apparent and typically far more useful to work with. Instead of just a sanitized narrative, the token distribution provides a far more detailed interpretation of the image, such as surreal portraiture, soft body horror, violence to form without explicit gore, mutilation coding, eroticized discomfort, cosmetic collapse, beauty image corruption, cosmetic horror hybrid, pop surrealism, the first specific reference to an art genre, fashion editorial ruin, comic villainy, and glitch portraiture. The most useful information is in the suppressed tokens, what ChatGPT normally wouldn't say. The information that is always present but typically resisted. What the image implies and what the system detects, but what it is reluctant to say.